Hey, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going alright. So, tell me what you did in this movie.
Started off as the audio editor and took on the role of composing as well, and made a point of sharing my opinions constantly.
Yeah? I heard during one shot or one scene you stuck your head through a doorway. How did that go?
I'm gonna paraphrase here. No, I'm gonna quote. I received a "out of the damn door," and I left.
Yeah? Was that the last time you stuck your head through a doorway into a scene?
Yeah.
Pretty much. How did the audio go? I heard there were a couple speed bumps.
Yeah, everybody involved, including myself in terms of being on set, was brand new to the 48 Hour Film Festival, and a lot of people were taking on tasks that they weren't necessarily familiar with because we were short on people. A lot of people weren't able to make it. And so one of the things that happened with the audio is the boom mic recorded a lot more than it should have, and was dumped onto the PC for me far too
Haphazardly?
far too infrequently. That by the time that I had a chance to look at it, and the fact that we had no way of renaming them on the fly, it took me about 2.5 hours of the time I had set aside to compose just to hear everything to know what was worth keeping and what was total garbage.
And overall, what do you think about the sound?
The quality turned out pretty well. The boom wasn't quite right in a few shots, but in terms of having the quality over what was the cameras was creating, it's fantastic.
Cool. And do you think that the audio lent itself very well to the movie?
You mean in terms of the score, or in terms of the boom mic picking up as opposed to the camera?
The boom mic and the score. This in general.
Absolutely. The all of the dialogue was far crisper on the boom mic. It's a dedicated mic. The camera was great for me to do alignments with. I would listen to the raw audio of the camera and match it to the best take that we could with the boom. But ultimately, the boom gave us far clearer quality, and it allowed me, in terms of white noise, to do far more with the levels and balance it out a lot better so that we could hear you.
Cool. And the movie did not have a clapper loader. Was that detrimental, or did it really matter in something like this?
It would have been handy, but I eyeballed it a lot just because we were using audio from various takes to match it, and none of that audio had the same clap. So it would have been handy about half the time, but we had a clapper that
There's somebody in a mask behind you, or was behind you.
Yeah, he appears in windows and fades away when you look at him.
Yeah, if you just pay attention to him, he doesn't like that, does he? Or
No,
it doesn't like it.
It does not like that. It does not like its own face.
So next time, would you want to have a person being dedicated like clapper loader? Even on like a smaller thing like this?
I think definitely somebody should, and the person can do the clapper and keep a journal of all the takes, their names, and the audio and video number of the file, and it would just make things a lot smoother and more efficient on the editing side.
So maybe like a script master or something like that?
Absolutely, yeah. Just even one person just keeping track of that would have saved Andrew and I probably a combined 4 hours of time today.
So would you say that if you could change one thing about this shoot, it would be that?
Yeah.
Right.
For me personally, that's the biggest issue that we had on our end.
So, you've had previous 48-hour experience.
I have. I've worked on a few remotely with a crew out in Washington, D.C.
So this is your first on set.
Right. This was my first time being with the crew.
And how is that different from doing it?
It was a total learning experience. When I was working remotely, everything that I needed, and only exactly what I needed, was sent off to me. The transfer times take so long that they couldn't afford to send me incorrect data, so they always were double checking. But when here on set, I had all of the raw audio, and Andrew had all of the raw video to work with, and we were swapping back and forth trying to get stuff to work. And there are so many takes of so many scenes, and I'd never had to deal with that before. So it was a real good learning experience. I'm glad to have been here.
Cool. And working at the same table, literally, as Andrew, do you think it was good to have such a be such close proximity to Andrew?
Yes and no. It was absolutely fantastic for us to communicate back and forth, and for us to swap files back and forth. The house is wireless, but my PC isn't, so we were doing everything on USB sticks, and it was real handy just to toss it back and forth. The few times everybody would come in around to see the nearest edit and stuff, and then it's noisy, and so I would take a break, just because I can't hear anything. But that's the only real detrimental effect, and that's not really worth being in another room for, with the benefit of having someone else. And with it, when everyone else is off filming in a group, having a good time, and you hear all the laughter, it's nice to have somebody to chit chat with. So
cool. And how stressed would you say you got during the 48-hour film project? 1 being the least and 10 being the most.
if I can omit Saturday's lunch, maybe a 4. I don't really do stress, but I do feel the constraints of the time limit, and we were pushed, and the actual cut that we got to the crew on time includes some audio that I did not have time to mix and balance, and so the cut that we ended up giving them is more like my music that I've added some of your video footage to so that you can look at something while you're listening to it, rather than my music balancing and giving something else to your movie. And we did get a final cut of that, but who knows if that file will actually work for them. So that was unfortunate.
And what happened Saturday at lunch that you said if we...
I ran out to get lunch, but it was farmer's market downtown, and I didn't know that. And I don't like driving downtown because I'm a suburban boy. I don't like all the one-way streets, and I had to park about 4.5 blocks away and then haul food for 12 people back to my car, and I just was in a bad mood. But I think I was in a bad mood just because I kind of wanted to be in a bad mood. I was missing out on everybody else being in a bad mood, so I needed to join in.
So next time we'll send the clapper loader to do that for you?
Exactly.
Exactly. I had one more question along those lines.
I have one more answer.
Let's ask, would you work with this team again?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nikki, who was, I can't remember what her title is, I call her the Screamer.
Yeah, AD.
Yeah, the AD. She was keeping everybody on track, and she was really good at her job. And she's a wonderful person, but she will enforce who is supposed to be in the room and who's not. She's the one who yelled at me when I stuck my head in the doorway. And she did a really good job, and our actors and actress stepped up when our scheduled actor and actress couldn't show up on the fly and did a fantastic job, as did you. And just everyone worked really well together with the obvious arguments that you're going to encounter along the way, especially in a 48-hour film festival. This is what happens these weekends. And I'm really happy with how everything went, and I'm really happy with our final product, which we'll be able to show to the rest of the crew
Awesome.
at the wrap party.
Do you think that everybody would want to work with you again?
I hope so. Aside from returning from lunch, I think I was pretty chill all weekend. So, and I know that I'm fairly happy with the final quality of the audio, not the cut that we got to them, but the end one I'm pretty happy with, and we'll spend some more time on it and have our director's cut of it.
Awesome. And one last question.
One last answer.
When you've heard that the genre was thriller suspense, I know that you had been gunning for that as a genre.
I was spending my time actively manifesting it over the course of the week.
Yeah, so we got it.
Yeah, we did. And
it was picked out of the hat. Did you already have a music that you kind of had in mind for that genre?
Music in minor keys comes more natural to me than happy-go-lucky music or pop music. I'm classically trained, and my favorite pieces to play are all in minor keys. The Pathétique by Beethoven, the Sonata Pathétique, is I performed it back in college, and it's one of my favorite pieces ever in the key of C minor. And I pull from those keys. And I love horror movies and thrillers, and I like sitting down and playing with these types of chords that you don't encounter a lot, like the tritone, which used to be called the devil's chord, and it was banned from music in the Middle Ages, is intensely creepy, and I incorporated either chords or leaps of tritones a lot into this, and it's just really unsettling, and it's fun to make so much progress so quickly.
Describe a tritone.
A tritone, if you're familiar with letters, it's like you could do a C to an F sharp. It's an interval, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, of 6 half steps. And the way that intervals work are you measure a letter to a letter. And C on a piano, I'll do it backwards here, C on a piano up to F is a fourth, which is called a perfect fourth. It's the way that religious music ends on an amen. And if you skip the F sharp and you go from C up to G, it's a perfect fifth. And Beethoven's sonata, the ba-ba-ba-ba is a perfect fifth. Most music ends on a fifth, on a 5-to-1 ratio. That one in the middle is extremely dissonant, and it creates a lot of vibration when they're held together. And so, like I said, it was banned in the Middle Ages, and it's unsettling, and it works really well, especially high up, just kind of plunking around in the back of a scene to just kind of make you feel a little awkward. And it works really well in this genre of music, and it's a lot of fun to make.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you were able to help out, and
I'm glad I was too.
hopefully we'll work together again soon.
I look forward to it.
Thanks.
Thank you.